Hello everyone, and today I'm going to talk about Anthem a little bit and the Division 2. I've kind of putting this off, but people have been asking me if I'm going to buy the Division 2, what my thoughts are on the Division 2, and just questions. And I've been putting it off because there's so much unknown about the Division 2, and I've got a lot of really big worries, but I have enjoyed the game so far. But anyways, we're going to jump right into this. I don't have a lot of good footage for the Division 2 beta because I had technical issues with a lot of people. I didn't figure out how to fix them towards the end, so I don't really have many recordings of it. But running in the background will be what I have, and it might not match up. So I'm not as good as, say, Skill Up and all those other guys who can match their talking with their footage like professionals. I cannot do that on this case, so bear with me. But anyways, let's jump right into this. We have Anthem. I played Anthem for 2 hours and I played in the betas. During the beta, after about a half hour, I was basically asleep on my keyboard. I was yawning. The gunplay is just so bad. It's repetitive. It's boring. The loot is anticlimactic. There's just so many things wrong about it. Ugh, I don't even know where to go from there. And then I played it at launch. I have 2 hours on launch. About an hour into it, I started installing Apex Legends, if that's any idea of how well or much I was enjoying Anthem. It was just so boring to me. I found myself yawning. I had just woken up and I was ready to go back to bed. And with the Division 2 coming out, I don't know if it's a combination of that and there's just other games I could be playing. Like, I've been enjoying Division 1. But I just had no real want. The story was mediocre at best. Nothing engaged me. There was no hook. There was no reason for me to be doing any of this stuff. That one cutscene at the beginning tries to get you invested in it a little by displaying how bad they are, but it really wasn't emotional. There was no connection to anyone or characters. Nothing was built yet. I had no reason to be doing what I was doing. And like I said, the waiting for skills to cool off, come down is just boring. The game gunplay is just terrible. It's just a boring overall experience for me, and I couldn't get over it. Flying and the animations while flying are amazing. World's beautiful, but it does get boring. It's repetitive. I don't have to all. My only real thoughts are on Anthem is it just doesn't have it. I love BioWare. If you ask me my favorite games in the whole world, it's probably still the Mass Effect trilogy. I love sci-fi. One of my favorite genres. About tied with post-apocalyptic, which is why you guys can see why I like Division so much. Anthem just didn't have it for me. I don't have any specific details. I just didn't feel it. I don't like it. Any game that makes me yawn after playing it for a half hour, and where I'd rather go lay down in bed and go to sleep again instead of playing it, not good. This is just thoughts, not like an actual review or an analyzation, so I'm not going to go into too much detail or try and dig into it. Didn't like the game. Ended up playing Apex Legends after 2 hours, which was fun. It is a really good game, oddly enough. The loot just so underwhelming. And I'm ranting at this point, but it's kind of why you guys like watching me sometimes, because I just rant. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world to be myself staring at my desk thinking. But on to the Division 2. While playing it, I find myself thinking that the Division 1 might look better. I don't know why I think that. I haven't gone into details on it. I know they said some of the lighting wasn't in place and that might change it. Just looking at the ground clutter and the stuff, like the amount of assets, and both are beautiful in their own right, but the Division 1 is just made with so much love in my mind. The environment, the terrain, the time that went into making that city just boggles my mind. Or they're just really fast at what they do and they're amazing at it. That city is still weird to say beautiful because it's just trash bags and dead bodies and garbage everywhere because post-apocalyptic New York City. But gosh, they did such a good job of making you feel like, wow, this could actually be it. Minus all the car headlights on, being on and stuff. Thing they decided to do. But the Division 2 is what I'm here to talk about. I think I have a little cheat sheet here. Some things. My overall beta impressions. It's fun. It's got potential. But it's also got a lot of worries. Gear. Same as Division 1. Pick stuff up. It feels rewarding when you get better stuff. You see damage numbers change. You see a difference. It's a good system. The guns look cool. The gear looks cool. As far as cosmetics go, I managed to wander off the map just far enough to pick up some cosmetics in the beta. I don't know if they were supposed to be or not, but I did. So it's good to know you can still get them that way, out of chests, not just out of loot boxes, which is one of my major concerns for this game. And it's a huge unknown is the monetization. Knowing Ubisoft, probably gonna have loot boxes, probably not gonna be pay to win. People have yelled at me for saying it might be pay to win in some aspect because they do sell XP boosters in single player games and other things as of late. But I hope they don't do that in this and give people advantages and legs up and speed and content. I had to sneeze there, but I didn't actually sneeze. It was fake sneeze. My body's just BSing me. Loot boxes and monetization. They said they weren't going to sell stash space, which was a rumor going around, and they tried to, which is great. Tricked a lot of us into buying the Ultimate Edition for that. That's kind of sleazy, but it's Ubisoft. It's to be expected. I'm just afraid of the pay to win. I'm afraid of the monetization. If they do it identical to the Division 1, so be it. They'll just lock a whole bunch of cosmetics behind loot boxes and pay to win. Well, not pay to win, derp. And cash out money. I didn't mind the loot boxes in Division 1 because you would just get them while playing the game. So you didn't have to spend the real money, which was a way to get them. So it's whatever. Neutral in my mind. It doesn't take away a lot from the game, but it sure doesn't add it where they could add more to the game. But as far as customization in the Division goes right now, if it's as big as it is in Division 1, it's awesome. I have a list so long that I wish the UI was different because it takes so long to scroll down with my mouse wheel in each category of clothes. I rarely, if ever, have ever seen two people look identical unless someone was purposely trying to copy someone else, or if people were wearing the preset outfits, like holidays or the Astroneer sets, which just adds a lot of depth in some respect to the world, where just everyone looks different, and it's awesome that they gave that many choices. I was super disappointed in Anthem's customization, where it was like, here's 20 faces, if it was even 20, I don't know the number. And that's all you got to do, no sliders, no nothing, which the Division is usually pretty good at, but we also have yet to see their character customization, so that's another worry. What else is there? The open world feel of the Division 2 felt really good. Looked beautiful. There were events to do. Some of them were still bugged with the NPCs not coming through doors. And I was able to just throw your turret through the door, but then the key would fall in there. So some bugs they got to work out, which is great. But I did play in the private beta. And I also played in an alpha beta. And the difference between alpha and private gives me hope, because it's about the same amount of time since the last beta to launch. And they made drastic changes in the game, visually and just with animations and all that stuff. So I still have some hope. Now, if this open beta coming up is an absolute disaster, that has me more worried, because there's not enough time before a launch in this open beta coming up. They can fix too much stuff. We'll really have to see. I was talking about open world. The events are cool. The capture points are... It's an interesting twist. It's a good way to get loot. It's cool. It's different. Adds just another activity, which I really love about the Division 1 right now, is just if you're bored doing one thing, there's a million other types of things to do. From survival to the PvP, to the Dark Zone, to the incursions, to missions, to legendary missions, to doing high-value targets, to doing the underground. There's just so many different ways where you can just log in every day and do something different, which is wonderful. I have on my list. PvP in the Division 2. Time to kills can be a little bit fast. Find yourself out of cover and a team goes rogue on you and you either didn't see it or didn't react quick enough, because it's really fast timer to go rogue. And they have 2 LMGs. They can just mow you down before you even get a chance to get to cover. That happened to us a few times and it was kind of like, that sucks. Really lame. There's some huge fundamental problems in PvP as a rogue. So they split the Dark Zone into 3. They're really small Dark Zones now. And you tend to have a spawn point in the one that was in the beta, more or less in every single corner, and one in the middle of the map. So if you did go rogue, and let's say you get to manhunt status where everyone can see you on the map, you're always near a spawn point. So they can just keep running at you. And if you die to a rogue player, you have no cooldown on your respawn. So we would fight groups of 4, kill 1, 2, get into a good firefight with the last 2 where they'd be running away or hiding. And by the time we could kill them, their other teammates would be back. And it was just this constant stream. And then, so you're stuck in fighting this one group that's just trickling into you over and over again. You can't break free, you can't break contact. Because they can see where you are on the map. And then as that's going on, it has the attention of all the other division agents in the zone. Even though there's less of them, there's still more than you. And then they start coming in. And then it just gets to this part where you're just stuck with overwhelming odds against you. With infinite reinforcements, and there's no way to come out on top. Now, if you just wipe the other group, you can run away, kind of hide. Sometimes groups don't go for it. It doesn't always end that way. But if there was a rogue group on the map, and they would beat us or kill me, even if I was just by myself, I would just go run back out to them, like, instantly. They would never get away. Eventually, they would either run out of ammo, or get bored, or I would get lucky, or I would eventually just find a way to beat all 4 of them by myself. And they didn't really have any options. It was just spawn to the nearest thing and run there. The turrets at the entrance to the dark zones are a thing. That whole... It makes running around as a rogue risky because you have to be aware of your surroundings and not go near the edge of the map. There's twice I ran us into dead ends, where it was either fight the turrets or fight all the people chasing us, or I stumbled into the turret sometimes as rogue and just got deleted. When your group is rogue and you die, you have a cooldown, which sucks. But then you wait out your cooldown, you spawn. If your teammates are still alive, you come out of the front door, and it gives you like 5-6 seconds of syncing with your group to get out of turret range. And sometimes if you didn't know where you were going, you weren't ready for it, you had to get your surroundings or your bearings, or you ran into a piece of cover, or any multiple reasons, you didn't get out of range of the turrets fast enough and just got deleted again. That was a huge problem that needed to be fixed. I should have said at the beginning, I don't stay super up to date. I'm really bad at gaming news and patch notes. So if they've already said they're going to fix all this stuff, feel free to let me know in the comments. That would be great. I'm just talking and ranting out my ass for no reason if they fixed all this stuff. But that was another problem with being rogue. I had a lot of fun with no pulses and everything though as rogues, because you can see in some of my videos it was hard to see where people were, and I would lose track of people and they would lose track of you, and it made for really fun fights and you could actually get away. I also liked how close you had to be sometimes to see that someone was rogue, or you had to aim over them to see if they were rogue. Ended in a lot of cases where groups would just start shooting at each other thinking they were rogue, but they weren't. Odd but interesting. PvP. I have 2 absolutely huge concerns for PvP that are unknown. One is the current meta that I saw developing in the beta was LMGs, because there's no extended mags for normal guns. Every single fight where I couldn't kill a person with an LMG before I had to reload, I more or less lost. And it made a lot of people... There was so many RPKs running around. Like, I would just fight all 4 groups, or groups of 4 players that only had RPKs. And if that's going to be the meta, where only one type of gun, and it has to be an LMG, is viable in PvP, that's really lame. They need to do something about it. I don't know what they could do or how they could do it, because you would end up with the same problem in the Division 1 if you give other guns extended mags. It's the only viable magazine, so it makes all other magazines and gear absolutely null and void. You have to have it on your gun, or
rogue agent neutralized.
And that's probably why they did it in Division 1, thinking about it. But, like, it kind of just left this, all magazines are... Like, I've never used another magazine other than extended 120% mag passive. First one. Maybe I'm wrong on that too, but I don't think so. I don't know what they're going to do about the LMG problem, the magazine size problem. It's going to be a huge issue, or the PvP is just going to die. I guess I have 3 concerns. I'll get these ones out of the way because they're unknown. The other one's more of a opinion piece on the balancing issues. And then there is the ultimate abilities. That private beta, they let us play a level 30 character doing 1 mission, and it got me thinking. They didn't let us go in the dark zone with it, But as it is in the Dark Zone, sniper rifles, if you double headshot with a proper sniper rifle, you can basically two-shot people, and it leads to groups just deleting other players. And that's just a normally equipped sniper rifle, never mind the 3 ultimate abilities they showed us in the Division 2 private beta were an explosive crossbow, a giant like Lapua or 50 cal sniper rifle. I know they're not the same caliber, but I couldn't tell in game if it was a 50 or a Lapua or something. It's a high caliber sniper rifle, a big boy. And a grenade launcher, I think I said. Now, if those are available in the Dark Zone, is the whole game just going to be a matter of run around and grenade, sticky, explosive arrow people and one-shot them with a giant sniper rifle? Because those things are incredibly unbalanced in PvE, where we're doing what is supposedly the end game content, the hardest content in the game, and the boss comes out of the final room. I pull out my grenade launcher, and I think it was like 3 to 6 grenades I shot at him, and he died, and it was mission over. It was an absolute joke. I don't think they could properly balance the game with those, because then it's like, what, you get there with no ammo and the boss is almost unkillable? If they scale and balance it to where it's hard to kill him with those weapons, is ridiculous, or do they scale it so it's easy to kill without those weapons, and if you have those ammos, you can just instantly delete any end boss and it removes any challenge of the game. Some people complain that those missions were too hard. I did them on the hardest try with one other person, so we were duo for the first time and we raffle stomped through it. And I know they've been in trouble before for scaling the game towards streamers and content creators and really skilled players, but I don't know, they're gonna have to do something because the game was just way too easy with that. But anyways, I'm supposed to be ranting for the next hour and a half on PvP, and the PvP in the game with those skills just worries me. If it's just the grenade launcher can one-shot someone, you could one-shot a whole group with the grenade launcher. It had a pretty big area of effect. Twitch shooters and CSGO shooters and stuff like that are just going to absolutely raffle stomp the entire server with those sniper rifles, as long as they have ammo. And if that ammo is restocked by going into a safe room like all other ammos, you basically have infinite ammo. There's just no... Part of me just wants those skills to be completely disabled in PvP, because they're just ridiculous, and we have no idea how they're going to be scaled. Hopefully in the open beta we get to see that, because it's a huge concern. Gear sets seem kind of underwhelming, but we'll have to see how they turn out. The whole 3-piece gear sets is... We've already done some theory crafting on them. There's some viable builds, so we'll have to test those out. That's another unknown. And I had 3 concerns. The LMG meta, the ultimate. Oh, and then it's this normalization of the dark zones and PvP in general. So I understand that 2 out of the 3 dark zones, and it will rotate, will be normalized where everyone's gear is exactly equal no matter what quality or type of gear you go in there with. I tested it and checked if I have a gray weapon of the same type and a gold weapon of the same type, or a purple weapon of the same type, I should say. I don't think there were golds in the level 7 beta part. But if I had a purple and a gray, the stats were normalized to the exact same thing. So gear literally didn't mean shit. You could go in there with full grays at any level and be the exact same as someone else. Now, I say the exact same, but if you have purples, the passives on them are still effective. So it comes down to what passives you have rather than the quality of gear. And there's a lot of casual people, and I don't mean that offensively, it's just people that don't play as much. And I understand in the Division 1 you had a problem with super geared people, and like I was one of them, could go around 1v4ing people, that wasn't fair, and I understand that. But also, it's a looter shooter game. So you're looking at the entire reason of playing the game is to get gear, get better, feel more powerful, and that is the only reason you're playing mostly. For a lot of people, like that's the drive and the motivation behind it. And the second you make it so your gray is almost as good as my yellow or purple, kind of takes a lot of the work and effort out of it. Like I said, it'll come down to more grinding passes, but the passes aren't a huge deal, so we'll have to see how it works out. I could be completely wrong on that, and the passives and the exotics are a huge difference. I've seen a lot of people pushing for it on Reddit and the forums and stuff for them to keep the normalization, but make it so like a gray is like 5 or 10% less than a gold, let's say. Just so there is some reward or feeling of having better gear. Like, you actually got an upgrade. And people are like, you can just go play in the non-normalized one. And it's like, yeah, but no one else is going to be in there. And it's just not going to be, I don't know. Because then I just look like a troll who likes shooting people that are under-geared. Don't like fighting people of equal skill. But I do. So I'll play in both. It's just a matter of... It takes away the motivation and drive of the entire type of the game, in my mind. It's not the greatest system to put in place in a looter. But I understand why it's there, to make it feel more even, and people who don't have entire days and weeks to play the game nonstop have a chance. Now, the normalization of queued PvP, I don't know. That's hard, because you look at WoW and other games like that and other looter shooters, that's just not how it works. Your gear matters-ish. You look at Guild Wars and it doesn't. So who knows? It's take it or leave it, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I'm so neutral and wishy-washy on the balance, because like part of me understands why it's there for those not so dedicated or have life players versus those non-lifers like me. I don't know. I'm just gonna rant. I could rant on, but either way, I don't really like it personally, but we'll have to see how it turns out being normalized, and hopefully they make some difference so it feels like you're still making game progression and stuff. Otherwise, you could just log in at like level 5, get one version of everything gray, and just go in there and have a good time. Not actually worry about playing the game, which I don't like.
Hostile patrol detected.
Oh, what else? So that's PvP. I think I ranted on about that. Probably absolutely no one is still listening to this, because I did not write a script. This is off the top of my head. The world itself, it's a brighter Division. Yeah, I like it. I like that it's put farther down the timeline, and it's like 7 months after the first one. I like that they turned all the car lights off. Great detail, because that was ridiculous. I did notice you can actually shoot out lights. More lights in this game. Some still flicker and come back on immediately, so you can't make the room perfectly dark, which I don't know why. If people want to do that in their missions, just let them. I think it's beautiful. And you could attach like a debuff to the enemies to make them way less accurate if it's absolutely pitch black, which would be freaking epic and an awesome way to try and make a room easier for yourselves, where you have to rely on pulse and stuff. But that's just me, because the lighting in this game is amazing. It's so beautiful, especially when it's pitch black. I like that it's put so much farther because of the plant overgrowth. It starts to look more apocalyptic. The NPCs, the factions didn't... I like the first factions a little bit better, I think. I guess I don't really care about the LMB and the rioters, but the cleaners, they're such a unique faction with the whole just burning everyone, and the cringeworthy moments in that game are all the recordings of people getting burned alive from cleaners with no remorse. That's still, till this day, when I hear them, because I've been playing a lot of Division, it puts like a wrench in my stomach of that. It's just a horrific thing to do to people. And like, that's the world this game takes place in, and that, it really just set it in where I didn't get any of that in this. The drugged guys or whatever, and then you just have another militarized group. It was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. Very generic NPCs, and there was no enemy that I fought that I enjoyed shooting as much as I enjoy shooting the flammable tanks on the back of cleaners. I don't know if it's because of all those gut-wrenching moments and knowing how ruthless and evil they are that I laugh when they're sitting there screaming and then explode. Could be that. Could be why I like it so much. But I have almost 1,000 hours in the first Division, and I still, when I fight them, try and do everything in my power just to kill all of them by shooting them in that tank. And I don't know why. I have a problem with it, and that's what I do. And I didn't get that in the Division 2 at all. I got no super... The guys, the grenades that you shoot once and they blow up, and then they fly in the air, then they blow up again and ragdoll somewhere. It's kind of cool, but it's just not the same. AI seemed to be okay. I didn't notice too many differences like I do in the first one, where let's say these guys I was just talking about where you shoot the tanks on their back and they scream and explode. If you do that to a red one, so which is the base tier enemy in the first one, they just stand there and scream and go, oh shit, and explode and die. Purple ones, same kind of deal, they just kind of, oh shit, experiment and die. But if you do that to elites, occasionally you get one that has the wherewithal and the mind and is hardened enough in battle to realize he's going to die, and he is radicalized enough that this is for the cause. And instead of just screaming and standing there and dying, he'll go suicidal on your ass and rush at you and blow you up. So it actually changes the way you play when fighting the elites. You don't really always want to shoot that tank on their back because it could lead to your death, which was an awesome change. And in the first one, I noticed the AI differences between the way the reds just kind of stand out of cover and are stupid. The purples can be stupid or smart and use cover. And the yellows use cover, they stay down. Like, the AI in this game is still some of the best I've ever played against, I think. They have dirt moments, but overall they try and flank, they stay in cover. They wait for you to switch targets before they pop up again. There's all these little things that just don't happen in a lot of games, and it's really... You just notice it over time, and it's really well done. I really like the AI in the... Oh, where was I? I'm just ranting with everything. So the settlements, so there's safe houses too, but those just seem like small little things like they are in the first one. The settlements seemed really cool. I really like the upgrading. I like the upgrading system in the first one, even though I haven't done it in years and years and years. But while I was upgrading to unlock skills and everything, it felt rewarding and good and made you go out and do side activities to get points. I like that they have missions. We have yet to see the whole invasion thing where we're going to have to defend this stuff, which seems cool. We'll have to see if it just becomes a nuisance once the map is completely open, if you have like 20 things. There's been other games that have done it where there's been like 20 points to defend and you would see that one was being attacked and you just didn't care anymore. You got sick of defending them. We'll have to see how that works out. We'll have to see how good all the buffs end up being for supplying all these places, capture points, keeping them captured. But the settlements themselves, they did an amazing job animating them, voiceovering them, walking around them. They feel lived in. It feels rewarding giving the kids a gaming corner or getting hydroponics, seeing the morale change and peaking more positive. Also, it's a huge touch-up and good, not touch-up, it's a huge thing to see more patrols out there. With the more you upgrade it and the more capture zones you get, like, it's more or less the safer it becomes out there. But it's not really safer, you just see a lot more gunfights happening between good guys and bad guys, instead of it just all being bad guys, which is odd. I also like to put the little touches in where when you see the people out there, your allies, NPCs, it actually says like we're out here looking for food or water. I don't think it matters at all. I don't even know if you can give them the stuff, but like just it's a random little touch they didn't have to do of telling you why they're out there. Like in the first one, the JTF would just wander around for no reason. All that feels good, feels solid. A lot of people say it's just more of the first one, but I think a lot of those people never played the first one since launch and forget what it was actually like. As someone who still plays the first one regularly, the second one feels really different in gameplay wise. Still basic, it's a looter shooter, you shoot things, you get loot. But everything, the handling, the combat, cover to cover, like it just feels different. Which is a good thing. Shakes things up, but I think that's why you see a lot of people who make their living off the Division not like it. Like a lot of YouTubers and everything are complaining a lot. I think it's just because they made their livelihood knowing and being familiar with a certain type of environment, and the second one is so different to them that it's scary. Could be wrong, I don't know. But I've heard articles of there being 6 times the pre-orders for this, so that's amazing. I would love for this game to take off and need to do well in it so I can take off from the channel and make a life for myself. That's a whole nother topic. And then we've got, what is this? We talked about customization, we talked about monetization. My overall feelings are, I like the game. There's a lot of really big unknowns that could totally destroy the game, like the monetization, the alt PvP could be absolutely garbage with LMG meta and stuff like that. Do I think it's worth getting if you like PvE? Yeah. PvE in the first one did nothing but evolve and get better over time. Do I think it's worth getting on day one? Personally, yes. Let's say the game is absolute garbage trash. They totally fuck up and nothing is playable or good, and the game just totally sucks. Why do I still think it's a good purchase if that's the case? Because Massive and Ubisoft have both shown that they're willing to deal with it admit their faults and do what's needed to fix it, because they Division 1 right now is in a good place. In my mind, like the PvE in the Division 1 is probably the best looter shooter in the entire world right now, by far. Bar none, hands down. If the Division 1 launched in its current status, PvE side, people would love it. The game would have been massive. It's in such a good place. I can't say it enough. Everything. There's so many activities. It's a solid game. Like, they completely 180'd and they fixed so much stuff. And they even admitted to being giant fuck-ups. And they called everyone in. And they did what needed to be done. And they put the time and effort into their love project. And they fixed it. They fixed the damn game. How many games you can say did that? Like, look at EA. They've abandoned Mass Effect Andromeda. They've just abandoned other games that didn't make the money they want. And I don't trust Anthem for that one reason. Like, EA is just going to see that's a fucking flop. They're just going to ditch it. Where Ubisoft and Massive have stuck with the Division 1 and put so much time, effort, love, and care to that game to make it a really good game. There's still issues with it. Not perfect. Not going to go anywhere near that bag of chips, but no game nowadays is perfect. God damn it, they stuck with it and fixed it. That's my personal reasoning for thinking it's worth buying. It's worth giving them the money. They've proven they can be a good company. They can be trusted. They'll stick with their games. They'll make it right. So even if you can't play it for the first year, let's say, at some point they will fix the game and you will be able to play it for a long time, like hundreds of hours. I know a large group of players that just got into the Division 1 within the last 2 weeks and they're loving it and they've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it. And that's worth $60 in my mind. I just don't know the PvP. They still have such a hard time with that in the Division 1. Hopefully the normalizing makes it easier for them to balance and they can fix it. Some people like it, some people don't. So I'm ranting again. By the way, I do think the Division 1 is worth purchasing. I got the $120 version because I'm a sucker. And I love the Division, so fuck it. Big. Oh, Gold Edition. A lot of people are just getting that for the early access, which I understand. You know, I lost my complete track of mind here. Why is this embarrassing for the end of the video? Not that anyone's still here watching it this far in anyways with this like hour long. I don't even know how long it's been. I do not have my OBS up or anything. By the way, final thoughts. Is it worth getting? Yes. Even if it's a complete shit game, is it worth getting? Yes. If you don't like dealing with buggy launches and little problems and disconnects and shit at launches, don't buy the game at launch. Hell, you can even pre-order just to get the stuff and then not play it for the first month until all those little bugs that drive you nuts are gone. It's the state of the gaming industry right now to launch with bugs and to be crashing. It's what it's going to be. I've never played a game that didn't. So if you don't like that stuff and that's going to make you not play it, don't buy it until it's fixed. Wait a month, wait 2 months, wait however long you need to so you feel it's stable enough to pick it up for yourself. You can watch all the streamers in the world play it. And when you decide it's stable enough, pick it up yourself. But I don't see any way that this game can't be worth the $60. So, beating myself. I think I covered everything. If there's anything else you want to know or hear, just ask in the comments. And now that I've actually done this video, I will just answer them in the comments instead of waiting to make this video. I'll probably do another one of these at launch, maybe a short one after the open beta if they've changed anything. I really do appreciate you listening to me rant, everyone. I apologize that this is the most unstructured, ridiculous, ludicrous, waste of time, nonsensical ranting video in the world. But I can't say how much I appreciate the support, and I will see you all in the Division and not Anthem. Why is my phone freaking? I will talk to you guys later. This is Dig, and I'm heading out. Dig out!